Let's kick it off. Go ahead, introduce yourself for all the new people in the Facebook.
What's going on,
followers.
guys? Anthony Angelillo, branch manager with the tag team over in Paramount Residential Mortgage Group in Miami Shores. I'm a net branch operating officer over there, and I've been doing this for about 17 years. And I also am CEO, founder of Tag Team Nation, e-commerce and marketing platform. Been doing this for quite some time, and like I say to every single person, there's always damages in our industry. We just had many of them yesterday that I overcame, which were objections, and that's why I posted this morning on how to handle objections. And I'm thinking about posting something. It's a little bit controversial, but we'll see. It's overcoming objections of what I experienced with Enlisted Nation just recently. But I really think that's the stuff that people really don't talk about. It's like taboo to talk about all the issues in the business. I want to talk and obviously expose that, and that's the whole concept of this show that Melinda and I have thought about. And it's collaborating. That's what we're doing here, and trying to solve problems and bringing on guest speakers like Tiffany. So that being said, Melinda.
Hi, everyone. Melinda Grimaldi, your real estate and title attorney. I'm so excited to have Tiffany on the show today. I guess Anthony did a better job at selling himself, right? I'm like, real estate and title attorney. Okay, let's move on. But I think everyone, if you're here, you know what we do. You know how good we do it, or how hard we try to close your deals. So I'm going to move on to our amazing guest. So I've been following Tiffany now for quite some time, probably since Females for Profit for sure. I think that's when we first connected. Through a mutual friend, and we've always chatted here and there, and then lately we're like on all these same Zooms and chats and things, book clubs. So and I've been following her quite a bit, and I've always admired her style. I'm getting an echo.
We have an echo, yes. I don't think that's
not me.
Interesting. It's gone. So we fixed it. Whatever it was, it's been fixed. Nope. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to mute you, Tiffany, for a second to see if it's you. Let's see. Test. It is you. So figure that out while I have you on mute. But I will say some great things about you while you figure that out. I've always admired her style, the way she presents herself, the way she, the branding of all the different things that she's doing. So I really thought she would be a great person to bring onto this platform and share how she set up her brand, and we'll walk her through with some questions and things like that. So let's see now if we fix the problem. Unmute. I think that might fix the problem.
Okay.
Let's try that now. So Tiffany, introduce yourself. Go over a little bit of what's happening.
Well, thank you guys for including me today. So Tiffany Pantozzi with Compass Real Estate, the founding agent of Compass here in Orlando, because it is a satellite office here in Orlando. But really, we have 6 team members here on our team and growing. And I do focus a lot on growing my brand, my personal brand, even though I'm with Compass and even though I have a team, I focus a lot on my personal brand as a way to drive my business. And one of the biggest avenues for me is definitely my social media in a way to connect with people. So if you're on Instagram, you can check me out at Tiffany Pantozzi, or all the other platforms, YouTube and Facebook. But my main platform I focus on is my Instagram, because I think it's the way that I'm able to share my most authentic self. And so that's kind of where I start when it comes to my branding. But you can fire away at questions, and I'm happy to share and help anybody get some ideas for how what I do might be able to help them.
Cool. So quick question, just for context, how long have you been an agent?
So I've been in real estate for 3 years, although not a very long time. I've been very fortunate to grow my business very quickly. I was recognized as, one of the 20 under 40 rising stars in real estate here last year. And, I'm on the leadership council of YPN Orlando. And I've boosted up to the top 500 agents in all of Central Florida. There's over 16,000 or something crazy in terms of my volume. So I'm in the top 1%. And, I work really hard for that. So I used to own an apparel company. I sold sports licensed apparel for many years, and I ended up selling that company. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. So I use all of those skills and expertise into my real estate business that has helped me grow at a rapid pace, with a lot of my marketing backgrounds as well. And mind you, I'm from Miami, Florida. So I didn't know anybody in Orlando. I didn't grow up with a sphere in my neighborhood or, friends and family members around me, zero zilch. So everything I built in my real estate business has been built from scratch. So that should make you guys believe you can do it anywhere you are if you just put the right processes in place.
Yes. That might be a blessing. That might be why you've risen so quickly, because if you don't have that immediate referral circle to rely on, I think you end up, you got to go out, you got to meet people, you got to make those connections and do all those things. So I think that that might be why that one.
Wait, there you are.
I made myself by accident. Trying to let somebody in. But okay, so you mentioned a few things. I want to ask those questions, but you got a lovely testimonial already from Lauren that saying that you're awesome, that you referred you someone and you took great care of her client. They're super happy.
Thank you. Yes, love her clients so much. We're waiting now for their parents to move up next. But amazing young couple, and we found them an incredible home. They're absolutely thrilled, and it was such a pleasure to work with them. So I love connecting with other agents. It's my referrals are actually one of my main source of business. Again, by branding myself, putting myself out there, other agents are able to see me and what I offer to my clients and how I run my business, to then be attracted to say, oh, if I have a client, I want her to represent them because our goals align, or the way we do business aligns. So that's a huge way for me to expose myself through social to attract other realtors that want to connect with me. So perfect example, by just being out there, and we met at an event in South Florida, and she connected with me. So there's always opportunity for that. So that's a big part of my business as well.
Awesome. All right. So were you always with Compass?
No, I wasn't. So when I first started in real estate, I knew that I had a skill set that I could be very successful in this industry. And I knew that I wanted to be with the best brokerage in town. So although I was brand spanking new, I knew that I had a lot to offer. So I went to one of the top brokerages in town, Christie's International Real Estate, and I became an agent there. I was there for about a year, wonderful people. The brand just wasn't what I was looking for. The tools weren't what I was looking for my business. So I looked, I was actually at that time being prospected by another local brokerage, a local boutique brokerage called Stockworth Realty, another good brokerage in town, top, luxury brokerage, very selective on the agents they allow in. But again, it was very boutique and very local. And I wanted something bigger, more tools, more brand awareness and exposure nationally. So at that point, I had seen some friends that were in Compass. This is only, November 2018. So it's only a little over a year now I'm actually in Compass, but friends in Compass in California and New York and Miami, I'm like, what is this Compass? And I was finding them a lot on Instagram. And what struck me about Compass and why I'm so serious about your brand and your image is their branding. I was like, it's so clean. It's really it really talks to me. Like, it's so professional and stylish and just forward thinking. And so everything about their brand initially attracted me. And that's when I started looking into their company, reached out to them, ended up meeting with the CEO, Robert Refkin, had a meeting with him. He had said, hey, we're not launching Orlando yet, but you seem to be the perfect person to launch Orlando with. We're going to make you the founding agent and let's go. So that's how that all rolled into Orlando even being on the map for Compass with little old me. So I'm pretty proud of that and excited for the growth in the future and the opportunity we're going to have to grow Compass Orlando here, because we're in all the top markets across the country. Thousands and thousands of agents now selling billions of dollars in real estate every year. So I'm really proud of that. And that's how I've been led now to Compass.
So how that ties you into my first question. How do you pull, or determine what you want to bring from Compass, and then how you want to personalize it, right? Like in terms of your branding, they have a beautiful brand, right? It's very pleasant to look at. It's very modern. It's my style in terms of the way it looks. So how do you decide? And when you decided, you do it intentionally, or did it just happen?
So yeah, so with Compass, what's amazing is that they have all these amazing marketing assets that they create for us. And we have this huge online site where we can, at any time, at any day, I can go in and find a great asset for a social media post or for a marketing piece that I want to do. They created that all for me. And I love that, right? So I'll use those things and then put my own personal spin on it. Or, I mean, there's so many. So number one thing I've learned is, especially on social media, but people want to see you. They want to hear from you, right? That's what gets the best engagement. So even when I post a picture of my latest listing, maybe my followers are curious and they want to see, or they have a buyer, but the best engagement always comes when it's my face or me talking or something like that. So even though I have these great assets from Compass, I might take what they created and take the idea and now make it my own, or add myself to it. Sometimes like maybe I'll be the first picture that I post and then post theirs as a carousel after. So I'm still intertwining their, content that's helping me have a really well-rounded brand and show that I'm a part of a bigger picture brand, but also having the Tiffany touch. Because you know what? There's always, there's like over 16,000 agents. And if we're all using the same content, that can get a little bit boring. And like somebody's like, I already saw that, and keep scrolling. But hey, if it's Tiffany here and I'm talking about it a little differently, so I always try to incorporate myself to kind of, share it in my way and speak in my voice, because everybody has their own voice and you have to find that in yourself. And just, being unique and something different. Like on my page, I've been really cautious to kind of just make things that are interesting and fun. Before I got into real estate, I truly have to tell you, I came into real estate kicking and screaming. I never wanted to be in real estate. I didn't want to be a realtor. Like I didn't really have much, I didn't think it was such an exciting profession at all. But now that I'm in it and I'm like, wow, I can really put my own spin and twist on things and do things differently. For me now, everything that I put out, I'm trying to make it interesting so that it's like makes somebody want to listen about real estate or see what I'm doing. And I stay very on topic on my page. Like, yeah, I might be at the super cute, awesome coffee shop, but I'm talking about the neighborhood and why it's so great to live there versus, oh, this coffee is so fabulous, right? So everything I do, I try to tie it back to real estate somehow so that it stays on brand. My followers, my network, they know Tiffany's always talking real estate. They can depend on me to talk real estate, and I don't try to go too far off topic. So to go back to your question, yes, incorporating all of my company's brand is a reason why I want to be with Compass, right? Because they have a strong, recognizable brand and a respected brand. So I want to always tie that in, but while always showing myself and my personality. So when somebody is looking at 100 Compass agents, well, they're going to look at me first, maybe, right? So that's really something you have to think about on everything that you put out.
So Tiffany, real quick, if they're providing you with marketing material and you're putting your own twist on it, is there a compliance department or any sort of legal department that has to look at stuff? Like, and why I ask that is some of the other agents might not have that opportunity if they're not working at Compass, and they might have to go through the corporate and up the corporate ladder. How does one that's a small person in real estate effectively brand themselves if they don't have those tools?
Well, I think that there's always the legal guidelines and how you may or may not be allowed to utilize your broker's logos and their assets, right? From trademark perspectives and things like that. So you'll want to know that. But it doesn't stop you from, like, when you know the rules of just, let's just say, being a realtor and certain disclosures you might have to put out, right? You just can't have an Instagram page talking about real estate all day if you don't share in there that you're a licensed realtor by a certain brokerage, right? You have to disclose. Even when I send community handwritten letters out, I have to disclose that I'm a licensed realtor, or you can get in trouble, right? But it doesn't mean that I can't be creative. And so if I'm going to use my company, my brokerage's logos and things, yeah, I have to, watch and abide by their guidelines. But if I'm going to create something completely from scratch, and I'm still being cautious to let you know that I'm a licensed realtor with Compass Real Estate and not using their logos, then I have free reign to do what I want as my own brand, you know? I mean, I'm not going to run an ad in a newspaper or a magazine with their logos without their approval on that, right? There's certain levels of things that I think you have to get checked on. I think you have a lot more leeway with Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. You know, I mean, I do a lot of YouTube. I never, you know, there's certain things you may or may not have to get approved from your broker. If you're going to use their logo or mention them or something, like, you're not going to be saying things that are inappropriate, right? So there's always going to be that guideline, which I encourage everybody to always read your broker's guidelines. And if you're going to use their logos, how you are allowed or not allowed to do them. But I encourage you to also go outside of that and create your own things that don't necessarily have to be something your broker spoon feeds you, because that's going to give you something that makes you stand out and be different. As long as you're doing the proper disclosures to say, hey, I'm a licensed professional with this brokerage, you know?
That's why I asked that, because so many real estate agents and loan officers, they don't execute. And the reason why is they're afraid to execute. And the problem with that is they're not thinking outside the box and getting that those just being creative about it. And not necessarily has to be real estate. You were talking about, just, the lay of the land and the area and the neighborhood. Yes, it's real estate, but you're at a coffee shop. So you're really outside the box. You're a forward thinker is what we call
well,
it.
I kind of want to say something that might be a little controversial, but that's kind of who I am.
Sure.
So I kind of just
like
say
that.
what I'm thinking. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. It's not meant to offend.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But so when I tell agents and they're asking me like, oh, who do you think, what's like, how do I choose my broker? Things like that. You have to remember, like, you're also interviewing your broker, right? Because I can be my own brokerage. I don't have to pay anybody a percentage of my commission, right? There's tons of brokerages out there that would want to recruit me to work with them and let me pay them my points instead of Compass my points, right? So you're interviewing them. And I don't believe the way that I look at it, like, I don't work for Compass. Compass works for me because they're providing me tools and resources so that I can work, pay my license under their company, because I'm also going to continue to grow my business and expose their brand, and they're going to profit off of that, right? So I feel like I don't like to operate in the working scared kind of space and saying that, like, as if, oh, I can't do this because of my brokerage. Well, you're your own business. This is my own business. I'm running the Tiffany Pantozzi brand, right? And this is my business, and I want to be different. And if I'm just another sheep in the herd, then I'm never going to stand out and be one of the top producers in my market. So you just can't be a sheep in the herd,
I love it. I love it. I just talked about this yesterday. No more sheep. Everyone's waiting for their damn execution in line. No, think outside the box. That's good.
Yeah. So that's something like, again, it's not to be a rebel or disrespect or anything like that. But I think that you have to think about it like, this is my business. And if a point came where your brokerage wasn't giving you the right tools and things that you needed to be successful, or you felt limited by them, then they're not the right fit for you. And maybe you've outgrown them, and maybe you have to go somewhere else. Like, this happens all the time in this industry. But I wouldn't let your mind be limited to think that, oh, my broker won't like that. Well, then, you know what? You're maybe not on the right brokerage. Go to a more forward-thinking, out-of-the-box, creative brokerage, and maybe that'll be the better fit for you.
Amen.
For sure. So I have a practical, like, logistical question. So you have such beautiful pictures. When you're at a property, for example, do you say, let me throw in a couple with myself with the same photographer? I know listen, this is like, where do you pull your budget from? I think your broker gives you some budget too, a Compass, if I'm not mistaken, depending, I'm not sure. But if not, how do you guys have such beautiful pictures? Like, where does that all come from? Your ideas of photographers, talk to us.
Yeah. So what in terms of like marketing budgets, I mean, I've always had a certain much budget that I've allotted to my business, so no matter what brokerage you're in, you should have a budget for your marketing. And if you can't afford to market yourself, then maybe you should hold off from even being in this industry. And there's things you can do for free to market yourself, right? But I mean, there's things that don't cost a lot of money and it'll give you a lot of bang for your buck. So we all have an iPhone today, and we can all afford a $30, poll to put it in front of us and put the timer on and go make a pose, right? And then use a free editing app. Like there's a lot of things you can do to be creative if you don't have the budget. But yes, I do hire a photographer. With COVID, I haven't been able to do anything, but traditionally I'll try to do photos like once a quarter or more if I have time. And I'll like bring 6 outfits, plan out different locations, and we'll make a bunch of different pictures, and I'll use those over time. Like the picture I posted just yesterday of me at the market in that green skirt.
Love it, by the way.
That was done months ago, So I just never used it yet. So, and like, you know, and I made a relationship with a photographer locally, and she's great. And I think it cost me like $250 or $300, and she'll make different pictures for me. I only get like 20 final edited pictures, but that's all you need in like a different outfit, like once you break it all up. And then I'll use it over time because, you know, listen, I am a realtor. I'm not here being a model, right? But at the same time, people are attracted to quality imagery, and they want to see you, as I said from the beginning. So whether it's me in front of a house, in a house, or whatever it might be, if you have a great quality image and you can hold somebody's attention for a second to say, oh, what is this? And then you have a good message and information you're sharing, it's a good way to engage with your audience. So I think taking quality images, and yes, sometimes I'll do the on-the-fly ones if I'm like in a cute outfit that day and there's a good opportunity. To tell you the truth, most of the time I'm so busy, like I couldn't imagine stopping to take a picture. So most of my stuff has to be pre-planned. But yeah, I do encourage people to definitely do that so you have better quality imagery. And yeah, a great idea is when you already are shooting your listing, have the photographer take a cute picture of you in the front yard, or, you know, somewhere, a favorite spot in the house that later you can do a post about that, talking about how great that spot is or how it's your favorite spot in that house, and give you more reasons to talk about that listing.
Love it. One of my favorite pictures of you was the one on the construction site. In the leopard.
In my leopard boots.
I love
leopard dress and red boots.
Love it, love it, love it. That's what, like, one of those that like really grabbed my attention. And I really love your images. So,
but
Anthony,
also with that too, like, what crazy person would wear a leopard dress and red hunter boots and go do a photo shoot? That's me.
Well, that's
so
I love it.
Peacocking. So hold
but
on.
the thing is, sorry, with your where you're saying about being unique, like you have to do, you know, be your own personality. People will remember that, you know. So like that's who I am, like, and I'm proud of that. And I think that I want people to want to work with me that know me a little bit, that want to work with me because they like me through what I've shared, right? Like, because life is too short and this business is too hard to work with people that maybe aren't your people.
Yeah, for sure.
As
For
Dana,
sure.
all money's not good money, right, Dana?
Awesome.
Real quick, what are some of the branding techniques that you use that have a steady stream of income? You're a top producer. You totally think outside the box. That's why we love having you on the show. But what are some of those tips that you can try to share with some of these agents?
For generating business?
Correct.
Well, when I first started in this business, I got my groove going by doing open houses at other people's open houses like every weekend. And I got really creative with that. So I know we're kind of challenged right now, which kind of is a bummer to be able to do that. But that was always a great way that it was literally didn't cost me anything to go and do it. I would spend money on doing creative things. Like I came up with doing a flower bar and, you know, and things like that. Or maybe I'd go to like the cute coffee shop or cookie store and bring stuff that are local. So I got really creative with my open houses that not only was I there finding buyers and sellers that might walk through the door, I spent time door knocking the neighborhood before to tell people about it and get a face-to-face, or sending a handwritten letter inviting the neighbors over to the open house, or you know, doing a video walkthrough while I'm in there to create content. Like if you go back to like my really old Instagram stuff, I have a lot of videos where I'm giving tours and I just use my little gimbal. So I was using it as a way to create content to talk about and try to prospect, right? And again, these weren't my listings, these were other people's listings, because everybody wants you to do an open house. Like having an open house is great. So that was a really good way to kind of get going in the beginning that way. But now with COVID, I mean, you can still get creative and do a ton of virtual open houses and video them and start to create a whole log of them on your YouTube and put them on Facebook. You can do drive-through neighborhood tours, videos of just like exploring the neighborhoods and talking with a voiceover, maybe go in and edit it and put pictures of things later. You know, there's still a lot of ways that you can get creative and be different to create content. Content is key. It's exhausting. It's a full-time job. There's nothing easy about it. I'm not going to pretend. I've grown to the point where when I first started, I had so much time on my hands because I was still like getting my business rolling, and I had time to do all these videos and all this fancy marketing. Well, now I'm busy. I mean, I barely have time for it, but I also have a full-time assistant and I have a full-time intern. So for me, I'm able to delegate my things a little bit better now at this point in my, business. But you have to create content. You have to create information, free information. People want to learn. You'd be surprised how much people don't know. Some of the simplest things that they might not know about how a transaction runs, or I don't know, there's just so many tips out there, right, that you can give. But I guess it's about content, putting out good content consistently. And whether it's 5 people following you or 500 people, it doesn't matter, because if your followers are going to listen to you, and they might talk to that one person that's actually looking for a house, and boom, it's a $15,000 commission. Like we have big returns for our effort in this industry in real estate. That's why it's such a lucrative business, that if you do it right, you could make a wonderful living. Extremely demanding, yes, but for the effort you put in, you do have high return and reward opportunities. So I don't discount the fact that you have 5 likes or 5 views on something, because you don't know the legs that can have by those people being your true tribe that then shares beyond that. So don't ever be discouraged to share and create stuff, even if you think nobody's watching, because I'm telling you, somebody is.
Awesome.
So I know, I love that. But so you mentioned using there's a lot of free tools out there. Can you mention that stuff you use or have used to our listeners and our audience about like these free tools to help you get some content? Canva is the big one, right? But what else have you used?
Canva's great. There's an app called Video Shop that I really like too, that does like, you can do little videos and edit them and put words over them and music. So I've done some walkthrough video tours of homes with that app before. That's a great app. We use Canva quite a lot. What else we use?
I'm using Splice. That's good too.
Oh, that's great. I've used Splice. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Splice is really good. I can tell you though, like for a lot of my videos, I don't edit. I don't want to edit. Like my time is way more valuable doing other things. So for me, I'm a big believer in the time value, right? What's your time value? And I'm sorry, but I'd rather pay somebody to edit my videos and then spend my time doing other things that can, get me another client. So I don't do any of my editing. I always pay for it. And in my opinion, you have to pay to play. Again, I started my own business. I started it with $10,000. I sold millions of dollars in merchandise. I ended up selling my business. So I understand that you have to invest. And that's why I'm not my own broker right now, right? I could be. I could start my own brokerage. People have asked me before to do that. But I know there's a cost associated with, your business and marketing and overhead and all these wonderful things, that I'd rather leverage a multi-million billion-dollar company that has all these resources for me, and just pay them a portion of my commission to utilize those versus doing it all on my own, because it's a lot already in real estate, no less having to figure out all that and manage it. So for me, I believe in the fact that you have to pay to play, you have to invest in yourself, you have to invest in marketing. I didn't do anything for completely free. Yeah, there's some tricks that I used, but I still spent a few $1,000s on a website. I did do some lead generation in the beginning, printing mailers, printing flyers, like there is some cost to that, right? Because, and you have to expect that. And if you're not ready for that, then save up for it, because if you really want to see success, there is a cost to that.
Do you have your own logo?
Yeah, I do. So
I don't
just
see it.
have
I
like a
don't see it. I don't
signature.
see it. Yeah, a signature. Okay, because I don't see it plastered anywhere. So I was just curious as to if you have one or not. Because some people will have it on everything. Some people don't have it at all. And then
You know,
you have to put.
I really like go back and forth with this because Compass is a really strong brand, right? And I really love their branding and I love their logo. And then I'm like, if I create a really cool TP logo, I mean, what's TP? Like, who's TP? Like, I feel like I'd rather have a signature where it's Tiffany Pantozzi. You can read out my name and it's more recognizable that way. Than just like, I can't think of any realtor that has a logo that like as their own brand that's like so recognizable. I just can't. Like, I think of names, but I can't think of one logo that I'm like, oh my God, it's the dopest realtor logo. Or even a team. Like, there's just so many teams. It's like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. So I kind of rather just rep my brand, my brokerage logo with my name, Tiffany Pantozzi.
I like that. That makes sense for sure. Anthony stamps tag on everything. Right, Anthony?
I'm all about brand name and brand recognition. But that's only because, you know, if you are going to really succeed with that lender, or let's just say that real estate agent, and you really blow up, you want to bring that brand with you. Okay. So that's the concept of brand recognition for me, at least, to each their own. But I mean, some of the stuff you put out, I mean, all of the stuff you put out, and I'm looking right here, the gift of you with the Mickey ears. In fact, let me just show it. It's just creative and it's badass and I love it. And if you guys are looking on my computer screen, you can see.
Yeah, it's so cute. I love your gifts.
Put out for me when you posted on Instagram with, you know, you're basically showing everyone here, chime in here. That's what it's about, guys. It really is. It's about standing out and thinking forward and understanding, you know, your business. So
yeah.
Do you have where do you get your ideas from? Like if you want to brainstorm, if you need to think about content, like where are you pulling stuff from? Or, I mean, everyone has to pull stuff from somewhere, right? So is there other people that you look up to that are in different industries, or where do you get ideas when you're looking for them?
Yeah, I think that, you know, a lot of the stuff I get is from looking on social media at other people and being like, that's interesting. And then it sparks an idea of my own, or I'm like, oh, I like that. Maybe I can make that better, right? It's okay. Like, I think it's okay to be inspired by other people's things as long as you create your own and make your own, you know, like make it your own. Don't straight up bite off of them and copy everything they do, because that's not original, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to be inspired by other people and get ideas from them and then make it your own from there. So like sometimes when I'm in Instagram, I might screenshot something and say, oh, that was a cool idea, or I love the topic that agent was talking about. Let me make that my own now, or my own topic. So I do get a lot of inspiration from other companies and agents and things like that. But, you know, it helps me spark other ideas from there. And, you know, just trying to with the Mickey ears, I don't know where I got that idea because it's never been done. It was brand new, right? But
you're in Orlando. It's Mickey Mouse
I'm in Orlando,
town
right?
everywhere.
So I was thinking like, okay, I'm in Orlando. This is a huge city. Like, well, what does everybody know about Orlando? Of course, they know Disney, right? And Disney ears are such a big thing. Like, let me do that with my company's brand. And it was something unique that really stands me out as Orlando. And once you see that, you know I'm in Orlando, you know?
Right.
So just coming up with things like that make you really stand out and in your market and be a differentiator. Because one thing that Gary Vee once said that I don't watch him a lot, but I watched one video, and one thing that always stuck was that he said you have to be your own media company. So it's, you know, and another friend of mine, he likes to call me Tiffany TV because he finds me very entertaining, which is great, right? So
that snake episode you had in your stories is really funny. There was a snake in her pool, and they was like trying to get it out of the pool, and she caught that all on camera. It's quite entertaining,
it was
actually.
a pretty good moment. So like he likes to call it Tiffany TV, but I think that, you know, it's like, you know, just creating as much content and information and like showing your true self. I do definitely struggle sometimes with like, should I have said that? Or like, is this appropriate? Like, cause I do want to be authentic. I mean, you have to be your most authentic self. And I tell people all the time, like, you can't be everything to everyone. Like, it's okay that everybody doesn't want to work with you. If you're trying to be the person that everybody likes, then you're not being your authentic self. There's absolutely no way, because not everybody should like you, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that, right? So, and I feel like you have to be, you know, just say what you think and be your real self, and that's what people will be attracted to. But I still do struggle with, like, okay, is that appropriate, or is that going to offend somebody? Like, I still don't want to offend a particular potential client, because one day I had an emotional day and I had a little thing, you know, like a few things to say. I mean, but I can tell you also, one day I was on a rant on Instagram talking about how I don't like when people waste my time. I won't waste your time. Don't waste my time, because time is such a valuable resource, right, guys? And I got a client from there that was watching me on Instagram. I ended up listing her house because she loved that. Like, I was so blunt and straight up. And she was like, oh, you're my kind of girl. Like, I love that you were like that. And I was like, yeah, I'll always be transparent. I might tell you things you don't want to hear, but like, that's part of who I am. And if that's the kind of realtor you want, then I'm your girl. I've also had a client that didn't want to work with me because he thought that he was trying to tell me, like, to run around and do all these things for him. He was a buyer and he wasn't being clear in direction. So I was trying to tell him, like, and guide him and what I thought he might be better. And he didn't want to be guided at all. Like, he wanted me to be like the running around girl and waste a lot of my time. So I was like, oh, we're probably not the right fit, and that's okay. I don't want to work with you either, you know, like, because I'm here to be an advisor. For me, if you find that I'd be the right advisor for you, I will work day and night tirelessly to give you the best service and be the best advisor. But if you're not going to listen to my advice and not going to work the way that I work best, then it's better off not to work together, you know? So again, you don't want to work with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that. And you'd be surprised how many people are actually watching and paying attention. Like you said in that rant, and then someone was paying attention. I heard someone tell me the other day, oh yeah, I saw you started walking and getting out more. And it's been a week and a half. And I was like, okay, so people are watching, you know, that it's an interesting thing to just be out there and kind of remind people that you're human, but also remind them that what you do every day is also like the thing, you know, like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other people I see on Instagram putting things out there that I wouldn't dream of putting out, and it works for them.
Question: what would you not post about?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. That was
me too. That was my question. So she just reminded me.
I'm all about being transparent. Anyone that knows me, it's like what you see is what you get, and I agree with you. Content's king. And not only that, my biggest pet peeve is when I call someone and the mailbox is full, like, clean that shit out. That drives me nuts. So
yeah, that does drive me nuts.
But I got so many people hitting me up, DMs and everything. And I thought it was a little bit controversy, but you know, what would you not post? That's the biggest question. What would you not post?
Well, I think that there's a lot of women, you know, that it's okay to be a beautiful woman and be proud of your figure and all these things. But I don't need to see your boobs in my face, you know, like, cover those things up. I have boobs, sure, but is it appropriate to be showing them as a realtor? I don't think so. I mean, if that's how you get business, maybe that works for you. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's for the kind of clientele that I'm looking to attract, no, that's not going to work for me. You know, like, it's a higher end, you know, clientele, or just like, not even high end, like just the people I want to work with. I mean, I don't want them Googling on my chest, you know? So I think that, like, for a woman, you know, it's cute to look sexy, but, you know, maybe you don't need the picture kind of laying on the bed or leaning too much over. Like, you have to be very cautious of your body language, right, as well, in certain photos. So I used to, I don't know, many people probably don't know, but I used to cheer for the Miami Dolphins, and I used to dance for the Orlando Magic. So I'm very comfortable being a spectacle. I'm very comfortable in a tiny little outfit cheering in front of 60,000 fans, right? I'm okay with that because I come from an entertainment background, but there's a time and a place for it, right? So in my real estate business, I think just being more cautious of what you're posting and maybe how you are presenting yourself. Like, I don't really post pictures in a bikini. Like, yeah, I can post pictures in a bikini, but how does that relate to my real estate business? I don't see that, how it works. Maybe I'm on vacation and maybe I will post one, but like if I post pictures in a bikini, it might be like towards the end of my scroll because I don't want it to be like the first thing. But that's me personally, right? That's how I feel about it. Not that I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I just don't think it's the appropriate platform.
But that's part of your brand too, right? I think that's part of it all, right? Your brand is even though I wouldn't call you conservative, you have that. It's like you're feminine, but then you have those glasses. Like it makes you kind of
a little more edgy, yeah,
edgy, professional, edgy kind of way, right? So
exactly.
That's the vibe I get from your pictures.
Yeah, I try to stay more funky and like again things that are more me. And you know, I'm not the perfectly super girly like tailored girl all the time. You'll see my hair in a pony a lot, in a bun. Like you know, I mean, my nails are looking crazy right now because of COVID. But you know, so I guess, yeah, we're all looking a little crazy. So I think it's like, you know, definitely whenever you're going to put something else out, try to think of how is somebody going to perceive me in this photograph. You know, lighting is a big deal. Like horrible lighting, lit photos, don't even post them, right? I don't even think it's good to post them. I try not to post too much personal stuff if it's on my business page. I mean, I seem to get a good engagement when I do tie my husband in, but I don't know. He doesn't really care for social media. And I don't know, I just want to keep certain things private. Like I just sold my home and bought a new home and I could have shared a million things along the way. But there's some things that I just think need to be a little bit more private, you know?
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on that. And being careful if you do post other people's listings, giving them credit for that. You don't want to offend somebody on that, you know? But yeah, I think those are like, and anything, you don't need politics on your page. Don't be too opinionated. Like that's not the time and place for it. You know, things about religion, like, listen, I mean, I don't talk about religion on my page. Some people are want to talk all about the Lord, and that's beautiful and that's great for them. And maybe that's who they want to target, right? And it all depends on your plan. Who do you want to attract?
Right. And then I don't think you should dabble in any of it. If you're not all in something, that's where you'll get challenged more, I think. And then you won't want to have that on your feed. Right. Versus if that's you and that's always you, I think it's more authentic. Like, don't just get into politics around, November, because that's people will feel that. Right. I've always stayed away from those controversial topics just because as a lawyer, I don't want to be perceived as one way or the other. As a lawyer, I also don't want to, although I like to be feminine, I also watch, those types of posts just because I feel like I have to look like a lawyer too, Yeah. I'm already not like the average lawyer. So I have to make sure I stay within some sort of realm of, what people think a lawyer should be. So
for sure. And I think again, like, people take pictures of their plate of food. Well, I mean, if it's not a gorgeous photo, then just why are you showing that? Maybe put it in your stories. So it disappears in 24 hours. Don't put it on your feed, because remember, and this is a great tip that I will share with everybody. When somebody goes to your feed, and I keep saying feed and things because I focus on Instagram primarily, so I'm referencing it. But when you go to somebody's page, you see that first initial snapshot, maybe it's 6 photos. Like, if that's all you get to capture somebody's attention to want to know more and follow you, what is that saying about you, right? In your bio, is it saying where you are? I go to so many realtors' pages, it doesn't even say where they work. So I'm like, where does this lady work? Like, does it say where you work, what you do, some of your basics, and are you going to capture somebody by those first 6 photos? If not, then you're not doing the right thing. Then you need to probably rethink your strategy and the content you're putting out.
It's amazing. I was just going to say stories. Yeah, there's a time and a place for food pics and for, working out or wherever, family time in the pool.
Totally.
That's all story stuff. And that's how people relate to you.
Yeah.
I'm very strategic on which one I use and when. Very strategic. If I don't want it to live forever on my page, then I don't put it on my page. I'll put it on my story. And it's more of a being able to pump out a lot of content, as story. Something I don't need to live on my page. That's just, at that moment. But you can, if you had a really great story, you can save them in your highlights, which is cool. If you end up, it came out really, really good. But otherwise, I'd be very cautious to what I put on a story versus what I put on my page. Because when somebody comes to my page, I want them to know that I'm the top realtor in Central Florida and I'm the girl they want to call, not be confused if I was in a bikini here, and then I'm on the boat here, and then I'm with my, I'm showing you a plate of food, and then I'm at a house. Like, that's just confusing to me.
So people that do not, real estate agents primarily, that are not using Instagram or Facebook, what would you recommend for them?
To get started, right?
Well, I hear that LinkedIn's been a great platform for a lot of people to connect if you're more on that, business sort of focus in terms of the people you want to target. I like Instagram because I like the visuals. I'm a big visual person. I don't even have a Twitter account, right? If you're somebody that's maybe more of a wordsmith, maybe Twitter and LinkedIn are your thing, right? Maybe you don't have to have as many pictures of yourself. Maybe it's more of a great content, great information, great market updates and stats type of a platform, so that's who you become, and that's the kind of information you're putting out. You don't have to be the one in front of the camera all the time. There's other platforms that might work better for you. So I would suggest a LinkedIn, or a Twitter. But for me, I'm super visual, so I love Instagram. I love YouTube. Those are mine. Yeah. Facebook is great. I don't use it as much, even though I totally should, because the whole world is on there, and it's a great platform. And I feel like you can really mix it in Facebook and still get good engagement, whether it's good content of market updates, articles, blogs, or pictures and videos. Like, it's a great mix in Facebook.
Yeah, I'm more Instagram, even though this platform is linked to Facebook. And it's funny you mentioned that. Are we going live on Instagram? There's no open API, so we can't go live yet, but soon we can go live and link in Zoom.
I think it also depends on who you're trying to target.
Yeah.
Although you have all age ranges on all platforms, there's definitely more of certain demographics. There's more of certain industries on certain platforms. So depending on what you're trying to, trying to achieve.
I totally agree.
Right?
Yeah, but what also, obviously there's TikTok, and truthfully,
are you on TikTok?
I'm on it, but I haven't made anything. Okay, so I've definitely spent many hours in my bed up too late watching them because they're hysterical. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, you have to be on TikTok. You have to be on TikTok." Well, let me tell you, the pressure just to be good on Instagram is a lot. So nobody on this call should feel the pressure that you have to be good on every platform. I don't agree. Focus on the platform you're comfortable with and build from there, right? Do I want to do a TikTok? Sure. To do them well, they just take some creativity and some more time to create. But I don't know that I'm going to get a buyer or a seller from TikTok, although you can get a lot of views. So I don't know. I think that, that's a great platform too, if you're comfortable in that space, and I'll probably eventually start TikToking, but I just haven't had the time for it.
Yeah. I was kind of forced to download it by some friends that you both know. And they're like, you just have to get it just so you can watch, if nothing else. I'm like, yeah, 'cause I don't think that fits my brand. That's why I didn't do Snapchat. That's why it's not that I don't find if I have them, but I'm not out there. I just have them because people want me to see things, right? So that's just, and I'm curious. I'm not going to be ticking or talking anytime soon.
It's funny too, as I want to touch back, because we're talking, I'm thinking about things too, with brand and how important it is to stay on brand. Like you just said, it's not your brand, so you're just not focusing on it right now, and even with my Instagram, I have another business that I own as well, but you don't see that overwhelmed on my Instagram for my real estate, right? So I think that people can definitely have multiple businesses and do multiple things at a time as a successful entrepreneur, but just be really cautious as to how you share it. So my other company is an apparel company, right? And I may tell them, I may put little snippets on my story about it to direct them somewhere else so that I can capture my followers one place and share with them something new. But I'm not going to start posting all these things that are targeted only to that other company or brand on that page. So I just think that if you do have multiple brands, multiple things, businesses you're running, if anything, separate them so that people that follow you in real estate may not want to follow you in apparel, and that's okay. But if you have it all in one, you're going to probably just lose everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Jack of all trades kind of analogy in social media, right? If you have too many things going on. That's for sure. So does anyone have any questions? Yes, we always, one question was, are we going to record? We always record if you're subscribed, which if you're on Zoom, you subscribe, you'll get the link to the recording later. So you'll have that. Also, all the resources and tools that were referenced, I saw some questions here and there. Those also will be recapped afterwards in the follow-up email with the link to the video.
And
so does anyone else have any questions? Now's the time. We have a few more minutes. Go ahead, Anthony.
Any content that we provide through the guest speaker and within 24, 48 hours will also be pushed out via email. So those of you that are subscribed, please subscribe. Sierra just
Yeah, she owns an insurance agency. She says great info for not being, even that she's not a realtor. And that's really the focus of this. These are tools and tricks and tips that we can carry over into other areas. Some of our guest speakers are not actually realtors. They come from other things, parts of the business world that just do it something really well, and we'll be bringing them to you as well. So
yeah, I agree. Again, that was the whole idea of this call. It's about your brand. So it doesn't matter what you're selling. So just like she said, like, yeah, I have an apparel company. Like I happen to be wearing the tank right now. It's like, you know, so, but I'm keeping it all separate, you know? So I think that any of these tips that I've used, no matter what the industry is you're in, come up with your voice, come up with how you want to present yourself, you know, pick the platforms that work right for your industry. No matter what, realtor or no realtor, putting out good content in any industry and capturing people's attention is what the goal is, right? So having a consistent brand, something somebody can always count on you for, to follow up and listen about that industry. I know there's like some girls on Instagram, I think they're like, I don't know, maybe she's like the wholesale queen or something. So I know that if I ever wanted to learn something about wholesale properties, I'd probably go to her page and see what she's talking about, you know? So be that leader in your industry that people can depend on, and it'll show that you're serious and you're qualified. And when they're thinking about wanting the best expert, they're going to come to you.
Question on Facebook right now. What are the videos? Recapping on the videos. Canva, Video Shop, Splice. What was the other one?
Canva, Video Shop, Splice. There's one quick, like QUIK also, that works.
Yeah.
I think that even those are really, really it, because a lot of the other things that I do are like with a videographer or an actual graphic artist that gets made for me, you know, because people use iMovie. Great. I've never even gone into my iMovie on my Mac, but it's an amazing tool. I've seen some girls make awesome things on that, right? So if you feel like dabbling and figuring it out, do it if you're super techie like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I had to like edit a video the other day. I'm like, how do I do this? Like,
where do I start?
What do I do? I mean, I could figure it out, right? But like, someone give me an app. Like, where do I go? Sometimes it can be overwhelming because we're doing so many things in our daily grind, you know? And then I also have a marketing assistant who does a lot of that stuff for me, but I need to do it on my own. But in any event, it's all good, right? I think that just find something and do your best, and you'll keep getting better. Definitely my social media game has gotten so much better in the last year and a half. And I think it's just by finding people that I like and emulating kind of their style in terms of how they present themselves and what are the things that they share and what they're doing and things like that. And the one thing I learned last year was like, you have to always remind people what you do. They should never be confused when they show up on your page, on Facebook, your website, your Instagram, your Twitter account, that they should always be enough there that they know exactly what you do for a living.
What do you do, Melinda?
I do a lot of things now. I don't know. I close deals. That's what I do right now. So that's it. That's all. And now I'm apparently a host of a show. You know, like what is that all about? That's pretty cool.
What's the recap of the show?
The recap is be your authentic self, whatever that may be. Know your audience, speak to your audience. Don't be thinking that there's, super expensive to find a lot of tools that are out there to help you build your brand. Your broker works for you. You don't work for your broker. I think that was really good, actually.
It's probably not the nicest thing to say, but I think it puts things in perspective.
Compass is calling you.
But you need to be
true though. It's true.
You need to be interviewing your stuff.
And then your own
be your own media company. Yes.
And content. That's what I wrote down, which I know. Gary Vee says content's king. It's all about content. So awesome having you on the show, man. Great stuff. Amazing stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And remember, everybody, if you're not selling your business, your services, the things that you sell and make, nobody else will do it for you. Don't be shy. Remind everybody what you do for a living, because that's how they know to call you, right? So it's super important. If nothing else, guys, don't be shy. Get out of that, right?
And just on that note, what I'll end on too is about not being shy. I think a lot of my success comes from just being confident, right? And putting your best foot forward. And what's the worst that can happen? Somebody can tell you no. Okay, well, at least you tried, because if you didn't, you'll never know what that potential could have been. And two of the biggest deals that I got this year was because I just took a shot in the dark. And you know what? They turned out great. So if I didn't go after them, I would have never known. So you just have to kind of, again, go for things, speak up, ask for what you want, and try things out. Some will fail horribly and some will work amazing. So, but you got to try, got to get outside your comfort zone.
Right, some will, exactly. Some won't. So what? Who's next? That's our.
The one thing I learned is, I had a few of them now. Forget it. Forget it. I'll put them in the recap email later if I think of it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have an amazing day. We're done. That's a wrap.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Bye.